I get this all the time as someone who's been known as like a big fan of Good Morning Football about sort of what's happened to the show. I would imagine that had to be so hard for you to hear that when you were on the show and then you leave. Are there any hard feelings between you and sort of NFL Network and Good Morning Football?
No, I don't think it's hard feelings. For me, once they moved the show to LA, I had a year left on my contract, and I started plotting my next exit or my next step. I don't have anything left to give to that show. I love that show. I root for it. In fact, I still watch it in the mornings when I'm flipping around, and I still laugh at what Kyle's got to say. And I think Manti is a great addition, and Jamie's as good as it gets for a morning show host. And so, like, I'm still, and a lot of the producers are some of my best friends. So I'm still rooting for it. But like, I couldn't do another Whiteboard Wednesday. I couldn't do another remote segment where we're interviewing, the same whatever it is another year. I just felt like creatively it was time, and my contract was up. And once they moved it to LA, like that to me was the future was on the wall. That they look at this as a West Coast based operation. I'm East Coast based. I don't like being the man in the box. Like I hated doing Zoom TV during COVID. I like being in the studio. I like having juice. So I tried getting there as often as possible. I did like a week of shows every month out in the West Coast, but it was waking up at 2 a.m. It just wasn't sensible, and I was not moving my family out there. So I did the best job I could for the time the contract was up, and fortunately, ESPN was also interested in bringing me along. We had a conversation. I'll tell you this. I started the ground running at the draft. I am so happy, and I am so excited, and already I just feel creatively energized, and to work with new people and to get new perspectives. Like it's been really cool. And even in my first few months, Mike Greenberg's out last week. They asked me to host all week. I never hosted a week of Good Morning Football. It was just, okay, if Jamie or Kay is out, that's going to be, Sarah Walsh, or it's going to be Jane Slater, or it's just NFL Network had their own vision. Like, this is how it's going to be. We have our people. And I'm sure, Get Up, they've got a million people who have hosted. To me, that was a really cool opportunity. And then the following week, I hosted First Take when Molly was out. So I'm getting to do different things. I'm meeting different people, and I am beyond thrilled and energized. But I don't have any regrets with how it ended, because everyone was lovely and they gave me a final show. I will say, like, what I joined the NFL Network was not what I was leaving. It was a totally different group of executives, totally different feel, and their look at Good Morning Football, I think, was a little different than what we were doing in those first early years.
Right. So the fact that sort of it became a West Coast show, and that sort of is what made you decide, like, you got to go. That I would assume was it still difficult to leave, or was it easy to leave because of that reason?
It was easy to leave. It was difficult to leave the people, but I was again. I love that show. Some of the best work I'll ever do is on that show, and but like, it was time. Kyle and I were sitting in remote boxes doing a show for a year talking about football. It wasn't what I wanted to do, wasn't what I signed up to do. So if we finished a year out, like, and finish it strong and look at other options, fortunately there was other options. So of course it was difficult. It was strange. And I have this weird feeling, like, I always felt this way with like ex-girlfriends and stuff too. Like, I don't have like any, like, there's no jealousy, and there's also no rooting. Like, I'm rooting so much for that show, and now it seems like we all might be under the same umbrella eventually, so it's all going to work out in the end. But like, zero hard feelings. If anything, I want that show to kick ass, and if they hire someone in my seat, which they haven't done yet, I want to see that person excel and get the best 9 years of their career as well, because that's what I got.
I mean, listen, we're in this time where, like, a lot of people, for, I think, not what's the word I'm looking for? Not authentic reasons, like to shit all over ESPN.
Yeah.
But the reality is ESPN is still by far the top dog. Like, yes, the NFL is this powerful entity. It runs the country, but ESPN is way different from NFL Network, FS1. ESPN is still the top of the mountain in the sports world. When you go to ESPN, are there any nerves involved there you're talented, you've been doing TV forever, but now it's, you're at the biggest sports
Yeah.
company
Yeah,
in the
I felt like
world.
I had to prove myself a little bit to
Yep.
the others that were there already. They have an Emmy-winning
Right.
show, that NFL Live, which I think is really good. And I come in the draft and they plot me in and they're like, all right, you're at the panel with a crew that's been there for 4 years with, Spears and Orlovsky and Mina and of course Laura Rutledge, who has blown me away, how good she is in the few times we've worked together. I'm like, all right, like I can't just show up and be like, hey, I'm Peter Schrager. I didn't play the game and I don't have the news that Adam Schefter does, but I'm here too. Like I needed to establish myself and I did. The thing I got the most and I like laugh at it was like, was people calling me a sellout online for leaving and going to ESPN and putting like a shirt and tie on. And I'm like, ESPN didn't hire me to suddenly become like a hot take artist, or ESPN
Right.
didn't hire me to like become a stiff. Like if you've watched me on any of these shows, I'm bringing the same exact personality and the same exact stuff I do on TV at Good Morning Football that I'm bringing here. Now, maybe we're not talking about, Elton John's greatest hits, or we're not necessarily breaking down the latest episode of Love Island, which we would have done on Good Morning Football. And I love the fact we could. But at this spot, it's been like, they didn't hire me to come in and try to be their next, or be someone else, like some robot. I come in and I'm just wearing a shirt and tie. And I think I like wearing the shirt and tie for now, at least. We'll see how long that lasts.
Fantasy football is back. Fire up the group chat, get those draft boards ready, and buckle up for a season filled with breakouts, busts, overreactions, and more. It's all happening with Yahoo Fantasy. This year, the SI Media podcast is playing on Yahoo Fantasy, and you should too, whether you're a first-timer or a veteran making your millionth league. Yahoo Fantasy is great. The best part of any fantasy league is always the draft. Because of Yahoo's simplicity, it maximizes the fun you can have at the draft. It maximizes everything you can do in terms of the draft, picking your players. Draft day is one of the best days of the year, and Yahoo Fantasy only makes it much, much better. To celebrate 28 years of fantasy greatness, Yahoo Fantasy is dropping 28 big new features over 28 days, giving you more ways to play, more ways to draft, and more ways to win. It all begins August 4th. Stay tuned and get started by creating or joining a Yahoo Fantasy Football League today at yahoofantasy.com/SI Media. That's yahoofantasy.com/SI Media. There were rumblings, I guess Martian reported you might get your own show. I don't know if you want to comment on that, but also what I want to dovetail into that question, you could handle it both, about getting a new show. And also, now you're at ESPN, you're doing more than the NFL. You, like you said, you hosted First Take, you hosted Get Up. They've got the NBA, baseball. You're not just NFL Peter Schrager anymore. Do you like that? Does that appeal to you? Tell me about that.
Bro, it's incredible. But I don't come in wearing a hat like I'm Jeff Passan or Buster Olney here. I come in as, I like the Knicks. I live in New York. I'm going to be a diehard Knicks fan, and although I don't cover that sport, I'm pretty well read on the NBA. I watch it and I love it. So during the playoff run, and I know Mike Tirico had comments, and I love Mike, and he's right. Like I hate when people be like, "Oh, woe is me. I'm a fan of this team," but that's not my sport. Like I'm not covering that sport. So I was just being honest on Get Up, and I'm bleeding in my heart about the Knicks and all this stuff, and then, McAfee's talking all this smack about the Pacers. I go on his show, we go back and forth, and he's like, why don't you come out here for a day when they play Game 5? So I flew out to Indianapolis, and I got to go to Game 5 and be on his show in Indy, and like that was like, draw up your dream situation. That would have been it.
Right.
A company asking you to come out and just be a fan and talk smart about your team and talk smack to the other team. So yes, I love it, but I don't see myself hosting like the Little League World Series anytime soon. I'm not raising my hand for that either. I don't fancy myself an expert in any of these other sports. Football is my beat. Football is my love. And if you want me to talk NBA, I can, and I can do so in kind of that PTI way where I know enough about everything where I can talk, but I'm not going to ever come out here and be like, I'm the expert. Let me tell you about the latest in the cricket league.
It is funny because I think sports fans have this thing where we have our media people and we know what they do and we have them in the box. And even before you got to ESPN, I remember you would often tweet about the NBA, the US Open, stuff like
Yes.
that. And I'd be like, oh, wait, he's NFL. What is he doing? He's crossing over. Like,
Oh, guess
you're
what?
not
How about
allowed
this?
to like more than
Jimmy,
one sport.
can you imagine this in our field? I actually like sports.
Yeah, I know.
I like them.
Crazy.
And guess
Yeah.
what? Can I give you another crazy one that no
Yeah.
one, that people are, it's going to blow people's minds. I actually watch sports.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I like it. I
Yeah.
watch it. Like, I have opinions. Like, NBA
Yeah.
draft. I'm watching. I'm like, where's Con Knipple gonna go? I love watching
Yeah.
him at Duke. You know, like that kind of stuff. Like, I love sports. So when I was at Fox Sports One, when you were with me for a brief period over there at Fox Sports, like I got to go to the Olympics in Sochi, and I covered figure skating. When I was at Fox, they put me on a fishing boat with Randy Moss and Brian Urlacher for 3 days. And they were like, let's film an NFL preview special of you fishing, talking. And like, we talked very little football. We just talked life. Like, I have a lot of interests outside of just football, but football is really the main beat that gets me going. But yeah, dude, like, come on. I love talking about all this stuff, and hopefully I can continue to do that.
Do you, so, oh, you didn't mention anything about getting your own show. Do you want to say anything about that?
Yeah. I would love that.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know where it's at. You know, like I showed up, and then within a few months, there were openings at 2:00 and 5:00, and my name was being tied in. I think it was more like, all right, connect the dots here. But at no point has there been a real concrete conversation yet on that. But if I'm being completely honest, like I want to be great. I want to do as much as I possibly can, and my own show would be an absolute dream. And hopefully getting these reps hosting Get Up, which I did last couple of weeks, and I'm going to do it next week. I'll be in for Greenberg all next week. Like, hopefully that's a sign that I can do this. I love it, but let's take it one step at a time. I first got to get through an NFL schedule. Everything's roses and parades and rainbows right now in July and August, but find me in January when I'm 40 pounds heavier, pale and miserable because I've been sitting in a Delta lounge and the cheese plate hasn't been replaced yet.
That was going to be my next question, because we're here when this comes out, it'll be the last day of July. So one of the worst months down, and then the last worst month to go. And then we get to the football season. So we're getting there. August 1st will be here. And that's sort of when there's a preseason game. So we can almost get, Hard Knocks comes out next week. So the football, we're starting to ramp up. Do you have a defined role for like once the football, like, are you going to be
Great question.
McAfee every week? Are you on First Take every week? I mean, we see with like Orlovsky, I feel like is on 24/7, and I have a feeling that's going to be you, but I don't know that, but I'm just speculating. But go ahead, I'll let you.
Yes, and yes. And that's kind of it. Like it's kind of when they hired me, the press release said he's going to be on SportsCenter, Get Up, First Take, and he'll make appearances on McAfee. What they didn't mention is I'll probably play some role on Monday nights. I'm hoping on site. And I don't know if that's on Countdown or if that's just NFL Live, which would be great also, or being like their guy all day on site. But one of the things I missed when I went full-time studio with Fox Sports on Sundays, I used to do sidelines. I ended up going Fox Sports, and it was like a dream job going to work for NFL Kickoff with that crew, but I didn't get to touch the grass anymore. And so I would have to like manipulate my own schedule and be like, all right, I'm working Monday to Friday for Good Morning Football. There's a Thursday night game in East Rutherford. Like, let's get to that on my own time. And I miss that. Like, I miss that. So I wanted to make a point that I can be on site and be working from the Monday night locale. So I'm going to be doing that a bunch of games, not sure the amount, but I'm hoping to be on site as often as possible and on your screen as much as possible. McAfee has been like, I don't even know, like a big brother once I got to ESPN, because everyone's kind of on eggshells. Where's this guy fit? And McAfee right away is like, oh, he's on our draft show, and I'm going to give him an hour every week, and we're just going to BS. And in just the 5 months or 4 months I've been with ESPN, I get more people coming up to me saying, love you with Pat, than I did in 9 years, love you on Good Morning Football. So already the exposure and that, and I love his whole crew, and what they do is really, really fun. And it's like a different way to do sports TV. It's kind of loose, and I interrupt a lot, and I take it wherever I want, and he just goes. It's not like, hey, get back on prompter. But yeah, like I think I'm going to be on all those shows, but I do not have that defined role of like, hey, Monday, Tuesday, you're going to be here. I think it's going to be week to week. We're going to see where I'm at, and hopefully we'll get in a rhythm and we'll figure that out.
My next question was going to be about Are they going to use you during Monday Night Football coverage? But you covered that already for me, so I can cross that off the list here, and we can just move on.
That's the thing. Like, I don't know the defined role, but bro,
Right.
when I came over there, bro, who am I talking to? Jimmy, when I came over there, that was a big deal. I was like, Fox used to have 8 games on Sundays, and I would be able to do sidelines for the international games for NFL Network. I'm like, if they got Monday Night Football and a Super Bowl in 2 years, I want to be a part of the game coverage.
Listen, we've talked about this a million times on this podcast, in person, privately over text. Like, I was blown away by the schedule you kept all those years doing Good Morning Football and the Fox show on Sunday mornings.
Yeah.
And I was, so just from that standpoint, I'm very happy and intrigued to see what you give us this year. I think it's going to be.
Jimmy, I feel happier, lighter, clear. Like, I used to look at July, and this is sad to say this because I'm doing what everyone says is what they would love to do. They would do for free. But I used to look at July as like Sunday scaries because my schedule was Monday to Friday in New York. I would get on a plane to LA. I would do LA for Fox. Then I would fly back to New York Sunday nights, and then I would be up first thing in the morning Monday. And neither employer, who were both great, was going to necessarily be like, you know what, take Monday off or no, they're like, we're paying you to do both these jobs. I chose to do it. But after 9 years of flying to LA and back 23 straight weeks, I think it took a big toll on me. And the fact that I won't be doing that, like, I'm really, really re-energized and quite honestly, like, refreshed and ready to kick ass and do whatever. But it has nothing to do with either one of those jobs. It was more, I couldn't be sitting delayed for 2 hours while my kid is, playing soccer, and I have zero hope that I'll ever get to see him, play in a flag football game because I know I'm going to be on a plane or in an airport every single Saturday.
Yeah, it's all you're on the biggest network, and you get a quality of life bump. It's a good deal. If anyone from ESPN is listening, they should have you flying out. You should be at every Monday night game with SVP after the games, before the game. A little segment with Jason Kelsey. Maybe we could make Jason Kelsey an actual football analyst with you and not just do shtick. And
he's good at football talk, man. Like, I've done it with him, and he's great. And if you have anyone who was in that room when he was at the league meetings talking about the tush push, it sounds like it was Shakespearean the way he put on a performance to save that thing for the Eagles. So yeah, like, I would love to work with Kelsey. I don't know Kelsey that well. I know Travis really well. I don't know Jason that well. And then Van Pelt's been great.
He's the best.
He's been, he reaches out to me randomly, like, hey, you good? Like, he doesn't have to do that. I'm a new hire who's awesome guy off the field too, if that's what you want to call it.
All right. One more thing here, like on sports media, then I just want to ask you a couple NFL questions, and then we'll do Billy for a while. Ironically enough, you leave NFL Network, you go to ESPN, and now at any day now, it's expected where ESPN is going to buy NFL media. Let me start with that. What goes through your head when you see those stories?
It doesn't really impact me at all. I'm gone. I left. They didn't know that when my negotiations were going down, and I left for an employer that wanted me and wanted to, recruit me and bring me in and do all that stuff. So they're going to come aboard. I love all the people on air. I have a lot of friends who are producers there. Like, I hope we cross paths. And I saw everyone at the draft, like the actual producers and on-air talent, the guys and gals that I love. And when I saw them, it was great. And then, like, the truth is, like, I have a lot of really good friends at the league office that work in the media department. And Brian Rolap's no longer there. But when you get through, the Mike Norths who you love, and Ani Bose and all those, like, guys, and of course you get through all the different, like, I still feel like I'm with the league in a lot of ways. I'm just not on that specific channel. And when I see Ian Rappaport, I'll give him a giant hug. And when I see Kyle, I'll give him a giant hug. And hopefully we're all working together again soon. But that doesn't impact me. I'm an ESPN employee right now.